everybody, my name is Becky and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I do a lot of family vlogs, fashion, beauty, and all-round just advice like these videos as well. So please join me if you haven't already. This video is about the 20 things I would tell my 20-year-old self. It's been a little while since I was 20 and I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and some of those I'm going to share with you today, so stay with me right until the end. When I was 20, I was mid-university, I was failing a lot of my classes, I was wondering whether I should be a full-time model or not, and trying to make enough money just to get myself by every week. And it was really giving me this sense of insecurity about my life, and so I thought today's video should be all about learning about what my 20-year-old self should have been doing at that time. Alright, so let's get into today's video of the 20 things that I would tell my 20-year-old self. My number one tip for myself would be just relax. I took everything so seriously. I wanted to be the best that I could be, but what I really needed to do was just relax a little bit. I was really eager to get ahead and do as much as I could, but if I just took a little time, just maybe smell the roses and just kind of relax a little bit and have a good time, don't forget to have a good time along the way, it would have been a bit easier for me to get by. Number two, if you don't do it for yourself, no one is going to give it to you. No one is going to gift you your dream life. You have to go and work for it. You have to go and get it yourself. These things don't just get handed out on silver platters anymore. I don't actually think they ever have. I'm not sure. I've never received one. But what I will say is that no one is ever going to give you the life that you dream of. So whatever you want, you have to really work for it and go for it. And if I knew that at 20 years old, which I kind of did, but I kind of didn't. I was a little naive to how hard I would have had to work for that. I wish I told my 20-year-old self, no one's gonna hand this to you. If you want it bad enough, you have to go and work for it. So, off you trot. 3, learn how to work without praise and out of your comfort zone. This one was one of those things that I wrote down and I had to think a little bit about it. What does that actually mean, living outside of my comfort zone? When I lived out of my comfort zone, I could then very easily distinguish that I was very uncomfortable. And when you become uncomfortable, you start to grow. You learn things you've never had to learn before. You've had to do things that you've never done before, because every time and every single time you're doing either of those things, you're growing. And the more you grow, the more you know. So the more you know, the better off you'll be. So if I knew that when I was 20, I would have been able to imply a lot more of those over time and get better results quicker. It's okay to be uncomfortable, and it's okay to praise yourself, to say that that was good enough. And you don't necessarily need that approval from other people or your peers or online or at your work or anything else. You just need to back yourself and go for it, because once you're uncomfortable and once you're learning and growing, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Just go for it. You can get it. Number 4, learn how to deal with negative people. Not everybody is going to like you, and you're not going to like everybody either, and that's okay. You're not perfect, you're going to make mistakes, and I'm also going to make mistakes as well, and I made plenty of mistakes when I was 20. But what I learned along the way is if you do upset somebody, people might be negative about it, and there might be people that you aren't able to escape. And that's okay, but you just have to learn how to deal with them. They are going to be there for forever. The first time I had a job after school, I was working with a lady that I didn't particularly get along with. She picked on me, she bullied me, and she said some really nasty things about me to my boss. I was 16 at the time, I was pretty fragile, and my mum always said to me, you know what, Becky, these people are going to be in your life forever. Whether it's in this case or another case, you're going to run into people that you don't like. You have to learn how to deal with them. I thought, this is unfair, but it's life. This is what happens to every single one of us, and you have to deal with those negative people. However you do that is up to you, but you don't need to be negative or nasty back to them. You just have to realize that they're people too, and they've got their own struggles, and that's okay, but you just got to keep on moving, because if you're letting those people hold you back, you will never ever get anywhere if you're letting those people get to you. Wipe out those negative people, keep pushing forward and doing whatever you need to do to get where you need to be. Number 5, forgive and learn how to say sorry. It's very powerful. It is probably one of the most powerful words in the English language, to say, I'm sorry. It means so much more to people than what you could realize or even put a value on. And when somebody says it to me, I know that I can really take a lot from that, because it means something. It means that I've become vulnerable. I've become grateful to have this conversation and the experience to be able to say that I'm sorry. I become responsible because I've now learned that it's my fault that this has happened, and therefore I'm apologizing for that. And you know what else it does? It gives respect. The other person can respect you and understand that maybe you did make a mistake, and that's okay, because you've said sorry sorry and that you mean it. And that's a really big growing point for people. If you want the respect of your peers, you have to take responsibility and you have to learn how to say when you've made a mistake. It's not easy to say sorry, but it does make you feel really good when you do. On the flip side of that, it's also really important to learn how to forgive people, particularly when they upset you, because you are going to upset people and people are going to upset you in your lifetime. Learning how to deal with that and forgive them when they do say sorry or do apologize to you, that can be tricky, but it's not impossible, so I think you can do it. Educate yourself on money. It's crazy to me because people spend money like it is going out of fashion, and they're spending it on bad fashion too, by the way. Even so, you can spend your money however you like, but if you want to get ahead in life, you need to be clever in your 20s, because what you do today is going to affect you tomorrow and the day after that and all the way into your future with all of that money that you're spending. Whatever you're earning, make sure that you keep a little bit to the side, make sure you save or invest it. Put it to a rainy day fund where you know is going to benefit you in the future. No one goes to work just for fun anymore. We might have a passion project on the side, but we all go to work to make money. And the worst way to make money is by going to work to make money. You need to learn how to make your money make money for you. You need to make sure that your money is working for you in ways that work for you, not so that you go and work for the money. I hope that makes sense. Basically, you want to make other forms of income, whether that be in an investment property or shares or dividends paid monthly or quarterly or yearly. And you can learn how to understand taxes and superannuation and things that are going to benefit you for the rest of your life. Learn how to do it when you were 20. I was really good at this and really clever with my businesses over time, and I learned a lot of different ways to save money, to really maximize my tax returns, and to really work with people that were great with money as well. So I spoke to financial planners, I asked wealthy people how they got ahead, and any hot tips I could find here, there, or everywhere. But this is all stuff that I learned all through my 20s, and now that I'm 31, I'm really lucky. We're in a great spot at the moment, and it's all been because we've worked really hard to make our money work for us. But that doesn't come when you're 20. You're not born with that knowledge. They certainly don't teach you that at school. And if you want to know more about it, there are so many other ways that you can see online, on podcasts, on YouTube channels, on your Instagram feed, different types of ways that you can find out information about money. I'm super passionate about it, as you might be able to tell. You just need to be somebody who's making money and needs to make your money work for you, not you work for the money. Embrace failure. Failure is so funny. Failure is a word that people don't really like to use because they think of failure as a bad thing. Failing 1,000 times but having one successful light bulb, Albert Einstein, is a really amazing feat. He could have made 10 trillion light bulbs, but he made one that's still lighting your bedroom at night. It's still leading your car through the dark and other times. It's lighting my studio, which is not really a studio. It's actually my desk. They come from 1,000 failures to get one successful light bulb. It's a huge achievement, but it's a testament to know how many times you have to fail to make the right things work. When I was 20, I was also thinking, no, I can't fail at this. I must be better at this. And I wasn't even trying things because I knew I wouldn't be good at them. But the best sentence anyone ever told me when I was 20 was practice makes perfect. And the more I practiced, the better I got. Honestly, sometimes I think, what logic was I telling myself when I was 20? Why didn't I know this already? This seems so simple. I was not that clever when I was 20. Number 8, if you can fix it, change it. If you can't, accept it and move on. 20-year-old me was not very good at this. I couldn't fix it. All I do is complain about it. I did a lot of complaining because I couldn't fix a lot of things. But the things that I could fix, I made sure that I did as soon as I could so that I could get up and get on with my life and not struggle with the times that were really bringing me down. Anything that I could change or fix or be better, it takes time and it takes patience. I'm still learning not to complain about the negatives, trying to still be positive about those and fixing all the things that I can change. Which leads me into point number 9. Success is a journey, it's not a destination. So constantly over time, the goalposts will continue to change. So you might have a great big goal now, but you might achieve that in a year or two. And I certainly did that when I was 20. I wanted to buy my first house before I was 25, and I did that when I was 19. I wanted to buy a second house before I was 30, and I did that when I was 20. Sure, those goalposts moved a lot and changed a lot because I thought I'd be very, very rich and living a fantastic life by the time I was 21 when I bought those 2 houses. No. It didn't happen. I lost a lot of money, I had a relationship bust up, and lots of things went down the drain at that point in time. But that's okay. I learned a lot, but those goalposts kept changing for me. I learned so much, and I'm really grateful for those experiences. Those experiences would not have gotten me where I am today. Dreams require sacrifice. Anytime I had a dream that was big enough to really warrant my want for it, I remember all the times that I had to sacrifice things, whether it be money, time, distance, traveling, having a fun time with my friends. All I had to do was keep working hard to get to where I needed to be, because all of those times that I had those big dreams, I remember I had to sacrifice other things as well. And it wasn't easy, but you have to do it if you want to get anywhere. Number 11, comparison is the thief of joy. Stop comparing yourself to others. God, when I was 20 and I was modeling, all I would do was say, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, my hair's too short, and it's not this. God, woman, just stop. Honestly, comparison is the thief of joy. It will make you miserable. Do what you can with what you have now. Keep working on yourself. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. There is no one else like you. You're an absolute individual, and that is something to be fully embraced. Something good always comes out of something bad. Can I reference this with a conversation that I had not too long ago? Not everything happens for a reason, but you always learn something. Something good always comes out of something bad. Every negative has a positive. It's like a seesaw. What goes up must come down. There's always something on the other side of that. If this is your situation, there is good and bad in it. You're not always going to have a picture perfect story to tell. When I was 20, I didn't realize this, and I always just thought the negative. Over time, when I figured out that all of these lessons that I'm having, they're teaching me things, so I'm learning so much from them. And that was a huge key for me to see that something good always came out of something bad. Even if it was awful and atrocious and I didn't love it at the time, something good was coming. Learn to back yourself. 20-year-old Becky was not very good at backing herself. She didn't have much confidence, and she didn't really know what direction she was going in, so she just kind of went in the direction everybody else told her to go in. But it wasn't very beneficial, and I'm still kind of paying for it today, because if I spent a lot of the time back in the day just being confident and doing what I wanted to do, then I probably wouldn't have been in so many situations where I thought, maybe I could do this, and then maybe I could do that. What about if somebody else could tell me what I could do? Why don't I have a crystal ball and somebody telling me every move that I should make? Because that'd be way, way easier. But unfortunately, that's just not how life rolls. We have to learn how to roll those punches and really back ourselves when the time gets tough. Be confident, stand with your chest proud, and say, I can do this, I've got this. Travel more. I was really lucky when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. For a big period of that, I was really able to travel a lot with my work. My modeling was taking me all over the place, all over Australia. I did a stint overseas as well. So I really had a great time just learning about myself and learning about the cultures that I was going to. And I did a lot of it by myself, which was kind of a funny thing because I always thought I wanted to travel with someone else. But learning to love myself and be with myself a lot of the time was a really great experience. I learned who I was. So traveling gives you so many more perspectives. It gives you a lot of an insight as to how other people live around the world and how lucky you are to live where you are, with an internet connection, with clean drinking water, with easy access to food. It's crazy the amount of things that you can learn just by traveling a little bit further and being grateful for all of the things that you do have in your life that you maybe weren't grateful for beforehand. Travel gives you so much perspective, and you cannot put a value on travel. Number 15, ask for advice and actually listen to it. Very guilty of not listening to advice. I wish I had my 31-year-old self telling me things like this when I was 20. Hello. Learning to take advice is actually really difficult, particularly if you're like me and you have a bit of an ego and you like to be right all the time. You don't really like to be wrong. But what my 20-year-old self didn't know is that taking advice is actually wonderful. You don't have to make all the mistakes that everybody else has made before you. You can just watch them make the mistake and then learn from that yourself. It's a really easy process. It costs you nothing and you don't have to go through half the turmoil. Genius. If you're asking for advice, ask questions and listen to what people have to say. If you're going to ask for the advice, listen and take action on that advice, because there's nothing worse than giving advice to somebody, especially after they've asked for it, and then them not doing anything about it. When you know it's the right thing, you've been through that experience yourself, you've given advice to someone and they've not listened to it. It's the most infuriating thing. But don't forget, if you've asked for it, listen to it. Number 16, learn to live in the now. You can't live in the future, you can't live in the past, you can only live right now. And if you're not living right now, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why aren't you living right now? Why aren't you doing your best? If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Do it right now. Don't wait for later. Don't keep putting it off. Don't procrastinate. Do it right now. What are you living for right now? Keep asking yourself, how lucky are you that you are still living right now? Don't forget that. Don't look back on the past and think you would have changed this and you would have changed that. You can't change it now, but you can do better in the future. But all you can do right now is what you're doing right now. Number 17, seems so simple, but just be kind. I love this quote and I've always lived by this one. Let me just read it for you. People may not remember exactly what you did or what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. It's a quote by Maya Angelou. Being negative is like drinking a poison. It only really hurts you. It doesn't hurt the other person. But being kind doesn't actually cost anything. It's really easy to do. And once you start doing it, you'll realize that people actually do it back to you too. Not that that's a reason or a motivation to do it, but it's really nice to receive after you've been giving so much, and it gives you a really great feeling too. And feeling good is a great reward. I highly recommend being nice to people and being kind because you don't know what that person's been through, but if you're just kind, maybe you might help them out. Number 18, my 20-year-old self really needed to know this. Being different will be your advantage. Growing up in a single parent family where we didn't have much money, I got a scholarship to a private school and I associated all of these people with a lot more wealth than what I was ever used to or had ever been exposed to. Being different in that environment was never a comfortable feeling for me. I always felt like I was disadvantaged, like I had a chip on my shoulder, like I had to prove myself more than these other people. It wasn't the case actually. By being who I was, it made me a little different to everybody else, and that was attractive to people. People wanted to be around me because I wasn't like other people there, because I didn't have the same experiences, and they could learn more from me than maybe what I could learn from them in some instances. And that was a really great feeling to realize when I was older, looking back on all those times, being different actually got me places. Being a different type of model and looking differently to all the other people, then that got me places too because it made me unique. There's only one of me. No one can be the same as me. So why not embrace that? And remember that being different could actually be the best thing about you. You don't always have to fit in. Number 19, being humble. I wasn't a very humble person when I was 20. I was a little bit outspoken. I loved my own opinion, and I definitely wanted you to hear my opinion. Even if it differed from yours, even if it was a little bit controversial, I loved the sound of my own voice. Maybe that's why I wanted to start a YouTube channel, because I love the sound of my own voice. But for me, being humble was really difficult to do because I'd come from nothing and I'd finally started having things or doing things or being something, and I was really proud of myself. So for me to sit back and not be boasting about all the great things that I had done for myself and really needing that praise from other people, I could have been a lot more patient with those other people. So if I could look back now and tell my 20-year-old self anything and just say, honey, be humble, okay? You're doing great, that's great. Just pipe down a little. All right. And number 20, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses for your past. Stop making excuses for your future. Stop making excuses for what's happening right now. Take responsibility. Stop making excuses for all the bad things and just get on with it. Use those excuses to empower you to move forward. Use the things that are holding you back and stopping you from doing what you want to actually be doing, and then go forward and smash forth all those expectations you have for yourself and get rid of all the excuses that you thought you needed to get and be successful. You don't need excuses. You just need action. And my 20-year-old self just needed to be actioning things instead of making excuses for myself. I would have been so much more successful and happier and productive. I guess what I really learned in my 20s overall was just that life was all about growth. I thought I knew everything when I was 20. I really didn't know anything or much when I was 20, but I think I thought I knew more than what I actually knew. Even now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit more wise, I still don't know everything. In fact, I know quite little to what I think I know, or what I probably should know, or what other people do know. But for me, I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the best that I could whenever I could. So if I knew all of those things when I was 20, maybe I would be a lot more better off now when I'm 30. Everything that I've done in my past has led me to this point where I am right now, and I'm going to try and live in this moment right now and do the best that I can with what I have. I hope this video has helped you in some way or another and you've learned a thing or two, and I really hope that you action some of the things that I've mentioned as well. You don't have to be 20 to do that either. As long as you're trying to do the best that you can, that's what really counts. Trust yourself, back yourself, and think, I can do this, and live in the moment and do your best. That's all that can ever be expected of you. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and make sure you comment down below what you learned from this video and also what advice you would give to your 20-year-old self. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!